Shalom everyone, Erev Tov, and I'm so happy to see all of you here to our first session from the series of education training all over the school year, and we are so happy that as a Jewish National Fund and Keren Kayemet Israel, we can give you added value for your holy work at your education system and school and organization, and try to give you more educational tools to teach Israel, to speak about Israel, and to do your work better always. So we have today our first session with the one and the only one, Dr. Simcha Leibovich. And I will ask my colleague, Daniel, to introduce Dr. Simcha Leibovich. And let's start together. Enjoy, and hopefully it will be a meaningful time for you with the added value to continue your holy work. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So I just wanted to begin by thanking you all for joining us. This is the first, as Zohar mentioned, this is the first of our series that we'll be embarking on this year. We have a total of 8 educational opportunities where we'll be providing it. I'm going to drop the link in the chat where this is where you'll be able to see all of the upcoming events. And as we approach each event, you'll have the opportunity to register. And now hold off just one second because we have 2 people who are joining. But yeah, so we will have a few opportunities coming up, and of course, each one will change as we begin to move through the year. So the one as we approach Tu B'Shvat will be about Tu B'Shvat, and each one of the meetings will be focused around the upcoming holidays. So it is now my distinct honor to introduce Dr. Simcha Leibovich. Dr. Leibovich is a consultant for the Leadership Development Center of the Universidad Hebraica in Mexico. He's also a consultant for the Chabad Leadership Development Program. He's the founder of Elite, the experiential leadership training. He is the founder and director of the World Leadership Center at Mount Herzl. He is the founder and the director of the Outdoor Center for Leadership at Ne'ot Kedumim, which is the Biblical Landscape Reserve in Israel, as well as being the founder, director, and dean of experiential education at Orot, an academic college for education. He was the World Zionist Organization representative in North America and an advisor to the leadership development programs in the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli Security Forces. We look forward to having him, and we're very honored to have him here for tonight.
Wow, now your expectations are very high, so I'll try to be relevant to you. First of all, thank you very much for joining me. I don't take it for granted. And I'm always excited to be with fellows educators. Actually, until 10 years ago, I gave most of my time to the business world, to the Israeli army, and to all kind of organization, which usually with money, with business. And the last 10 years, I decided to dedicate myself to education and to, I would say, nonprofit organization, because I think that they are doing the most important thing today. And that's why I'm excited to be with you. I know we have an amazing challenge, our today's educators, because in the past, it was so clear that we was the center of the knowledge in the class. Today, we know sometimes that the kids know better than us, because 5 minutes before the class, they looked up everything in the internet. They went to Twitter, to TikTok, to whatever, to all these things, and we are not anymore a source of knowledge. I had the same problem, I had a wonderful experience with doctors. They wanted me to give them a session about how to be meaningful to their patient. And they say, we come to a patient, we give you a solution, say, well, I know there's a new thing, why didn't you tell me about this and this? They know better than me, the doctor said. And so our real job is changed. We have to understand that our real mission has changed. We are not anymore the center of the knowledge. We are not anymore even the social agent for the kids, because he finds other ways. Today, he has so many friends on Facebook and TikTok, and he is spending so much time in technology. So let's speak about something that only we can give, something that makes us special and meaningful. And I want to share with you some thoughts that were made by 5 famous Jews who had an impact on all the world, who had 5 leaders, philosophers, rabbis, psychologists. And let's see what they think about this issue. How do they view it? I would like to start with the first one that every one of you know. His name is Viktor Frankl. Okay, Viktor Frankl is some background. And when the German came into Austria, the Anschluss, 38, they came. Vienna was the center of psychology in the world, and they came to Frankl, and they knew about his work already. It was Freud's student, and they told him, listen, we are ready to keep you here with your lab with one condition, that you will stay here only with your wife, but all your family, unfortunately, will have to go to Auschwitz. This was a horrible dilemma. He decided to stay to go with his family to Auschwitz. And by the way, unfortunately, his wife was killed, all his family, just he and one sister remained after the Holocaust. But what he had is an amazing experience. He said, I learned not from the lab, not on mouse, I really had the experience to work with people. And he saw people suffering the most horrible way that happened in history. And in spite of the fact, he saw something very special about people. He used to say, Freud, if you go to a Freud system, you always blame your parents, your grandparents, your genes. Something is wrong. You are okay. You blame them. If you go with Adler, you always blame the environment. I was poor. I had bad teachers. I didn't have a chance to learn. And he said, it's time to take responsibility. It's all about us, what we do. And then let's try to understand this system. Okay. The logotherapy, is based on that the human person is motivated by a will to meaning, an inner pull to find a meaning in life. He saw that those prisoners in Auschwitz that survived usually had a meaning in their life, most of them. Some people were even physically stronger than others, but they couldn't stand it. They couldn't fight. And some of them, by the way, he was a doctor. He functioned as a doctor and as a regular prisoner. He used to every morning to go to work, horrible work, and afternoon he felt that he has to save his fellows, and he went from cabin to help those people. And he saw some people were very weak physically, but had a hope and a mission. Some people said, oh, I have to see my kids. Oh, I wrote this book and it has to be published. He himself said that what saved him was the visions that he's going to speak about his new theory. And this saved him. So the first thing, a meaning in life. Okay, the notion of logotherapy was created with the Greek word of logos, meaning, and Frankl concept is based on the premise that let's go to the second part. Our main motivation for living, it'll be find a meaning, is to find a meaning in our life. And another thing, he came with the idea that we have a freedom of choice. He used to ask his fellow prisoners, why do you run to the wire or to the gate and touch the wire and die? Why don't you commit suicide? And the guy said, what are you talking about? I am this and this. So this was the most meaningful thing that he found out in the Shoah. Let's go to the second, please, Daniel. Now, let's see this. According to Frankl, we can discover this meaning in life in three different ways. By creating the work of doing a deed, see, to do something meaningful in my life. And I think that we as educators is something very meaningful by helping people to find their meaning in life. And this is something we should, that no internet, no TikTok, any technology will not do this. Only a real open interaction with the kid. You see, what really motivates kids or people in general is what will be with me? What am I good at? Where is my strengths? How can I fulfill my mission in life? And this thing I think we should give a chance to every kid in the class or every student we have to find his own strengths and to bring it out in the class. Whether it's football or it's music, we have to encourage those kids. The class should be a place where we express our strength. And if we go according to this system, this will make people happy and motivate them. They'll come to the class. Doesn't matter that you didn't finish this chapter or that chapter. Think about the kid and the way you speak with him, and you give him a field, you give him a place to express what he can do. So I think that we should take what he said and implement it in class. The second thing he said, by experiencing something or encountering someone. Okay, and the third one is by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. So I hope we wouldn't have to use this one, but number one is the most important. We have to create in our field opportunity doing these. I believe, when I prepare a class, I always think, how can I help those people to express their strengths? When I do this, I'm more motivated to come to the class, and I'm listening to the people. And this is one thing we should take from Viktor Frankl. He based his theory on Nietzsche, who said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any hour. And this is something that was his motto. The second person I would like to say, another Jew, you see, I checked all those people who made a change in life, is Maslow. Maslow wrote his theory, the hierarchy of needs, or the pyramid of needs, in 1942, in the middle of the Holocaust. He was a humanist, and he said that what motivates people, and I know that most of you or all of you knows this pyramid, but I'll give you something that happened when in the later, I think he was more 70 or 75 years old, he changed it. And most of the people don't know. So I want to speak about this. First of all, you see, what motivates us, it motivates every person in the world, every human being, not the human being, also animals, is physical needs. We wake up in the morning because we have to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, maybe some of us would stay in the bed, or we're hungry. And after we solve this problem or this challenge, and we solve our physical needs, we are good, we are healthy, we ate, we look for safety, which means we want a home, we want a house, like, a cave, whatever. We want to be sure that our salary comes in to the bank. And this is, we call it safety needs. Then it goes to the third one, belonging. And this is a very strong motivation that we use in class. People want to belong. People want to be a part. You know, I used to work in Hamak camps, and every summer I used to see the end of the camp. Everyone came to see the pictures. Where am I in the picture? People, it's very important to people to know that they belong to something. And this we can use. We use it in education. You want to be like accepted. This is the main word. And if people don't want you, wow, it's horrible for many kids, you know. Now, then we go to esteem, status. We want to succeed. We want to be appreciated by others. And the higher level, according to Maslow and those years, was self-actualization. What's special about me? Did I fulfill my dreams? And he said, those people who come to this level, you see, it goes narrow and narrow. Most of the people don't achieve this, are very happy. But he saw that in spite of this fact, many people became egoistic. You know, the Western world, people, you know, the rate of divorce, people didn't care about. People left their parents and went to other place, didn't care about the family. And then he had a new enlightenment, and he said there's something higher than self-actualization. And please go to the next slide and you see it. Okay? He called it self-transcendence. It's spiritual needs. Spiritual needs differ from other types of needs in that they can be met on multiple levels. When this needs is met, it reduces feelings in integrity and raises things. Now, it's like you do for other. It's altruism. You think not only about yourself. You go out from yourself and you think, how can I help others? Let's say someone like Bill Gates, who understand what $97 billion means. You have no idea. How many airplanes can you have? How many houses can you have? And then he decided to contribute most of his money to so many foundations, help so many kids in the world. And this gives him satisfaction. And this is something above self-actualization or self-fulfillment, in thinking about the others. Now, I usually make a joke that we know that he was a Jewish kid, Abraham Maslow. And I always tell the people that when people used to go to Mincha on Shabbat, this kid played baseball or something. How do I know? Because in Pirkei Avot, it's a Mishnah, it's one of the, that speaks about values, about people behaviors. It says, Im en ani li mili, which means if I'm not to myself, who am I? No, no one will be for me. This is self-actualization. But Hillel, the elder, was a president, Hillel HaZaken. He didn't stop here. He said, the second part, Ukshani la'atzmi mani. If I'm only to myself, who am I? So in one sentence, Hillel HaZaken taught us all the theory. You have to work on yourself. It's okay to be selfish until the time that you understand exactly what is your contribution to the world. And this, when you come to this level, no more selfishness. You have to think, if I'm only to myself, who am I? And this is the idea that Maslow thought, what we have to do with the kids, not just to help them to fulfill themselves. We have to work on giving to other people. When you plan, any program you plan, think, you know, there are 3 levels in education when you set goals. One level, when you speak about intellectual level. I want the kid to understand the new 5 words in Hebrew. This is intellectual. Let's say you teach tzedakah, okay? Charity, giving to others, sharing. So first of all, you always speak about it's fair, to share with the world, we have enough, or other values. But then go to the second level, which is feelings. Engage your kids with a movie about kids in need. Go to visit in a hospital. Do something, arise their feelings. But this will be enough. You have to go to the third one, which is implementing, doing. Yahadut and education is about doing, not about viewing, and not about talking. The highest thing is a mitzvah. And the same idea comes here with Maslow. We have to take the kids and to do stuff. So every project you plan, think about the three levels: intellectual, feelings, and doing. And everything has to be by doing. Now, the next giant I want you to meet is a rabbi called Avraham Yitzhak Kook. He was the chief rabbi of Israel. Actually, he established the Rabbanut, the rabbinical. He came in the beginning of the 20th century. And let's see, actually, what you see today, what we call the Kippot HaSrugot, or the religious Zionism in Israel, which are now the leading soldiers in the Israeli army, who are now settling the state of Israel. You might like their ideology or not. He was a leader and he motivated those people. So he's called the father of the religious Zionism. So Avraham Kook, Rav Kook, came to this prayer. Please, there is a special prayer from Yom Kippur, and let's try to understand it. When you read this prayer, my God, before I was Elokai, was formed, I'm not worthy, and that to have been formed, I'm as if I had not been formed. I'm dust in my lifetime, all the more in my death. Behold, I am before thee like a vessel full of shame and confusion. This text of this prayer, you say in the highest moment of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the highest holiday in the year, when you are just you and God in a confession. It's called Tfilat Vidu, the confession. You tell God, I'm nothing. I'm full of shame. And this is the way we are, people. That's what you think about us. Okay? So when you read this text, and I guess if we were together now in a class and I said, what is the image of a person you see here? I'm sure that most of you would say, wow, we look horrible, isn't it? Now, Rabbi Kook didn't like it. He was so creative. And he came and he gave his interpretation. Let's see what he said. Now you will go line by line, Daniel. Okay. Okay, go. My God, before I was formed, now it takes the same text. I was not worthy, and now that I have been formed, I'm as if I had not been formed. How do we explain it? Now listen to what he says. He didn't like, I'm nothing? What do you mean I'm nothing? It says, sometimes we can be so high, so close to God. Look at the prophet, not just in Judaism. Look like Mama Teresa or other people who became so unbelievable. What do you mean I'm nothing? You created me in God's image. B'Tselem Elokim. How come you say I'm nothing? And say, listen, I'll explain you what that means. Before I was created, all the unlimited time to the world until I was created, there was nothing in the world that needed me. If I was needed for any purpose or to fulfill a specific task, I would have been created. I was not created until this time. It is a sign that there was no meaning be created until then. With all due respect to me, Simcha Leibovich, with all the wonderful introductions that my friend Daniel gave, the credit he gave me, until 70 years, minus 2 months. I'm going to be 72 months, but you don't have to be present to give present, don't worry. No one needed me here. The same with you guys. No offense. According to his perception, we come exactly in the moment that we have a task, where we have a mission to complete. Imagine a big puzzle. The world is a big puzzle of billions of small pieces, and whenever there is some pieces is missing, and I have to fulfill the task in this piece, boom, I come into this world. So everyone has a job in this world. There was no need for me, but to the time when I was created, to be fulfilled and complete my being. This is the philosophy of Rabbi Kook, and not just his. You will see it now. If I dedicate my needed to the purpose of my creation, then I'm worthy. But if my needs are not done to my own purpose, it means that I didn't yet achieve the purpose of my creation, and I'm not worthy. So when I'm worthy, I have a role in this world. I was created in God's image. But when I don't fulfill the task or the mission I was asked to or I created to, I'm not worthy. So what we have to do as educated, to help people to find their specialness, their task. And everyone, now, if you see, go on, he wrote a wonderful poem, and you may use this. Every person must know and understand that in the depth of one's being, there burns a candle. And one's candle is not at all as his friend's candle. And there is no one that has no candle. What does he say here? One, everyone has a candle. Two, the candle is very unique. And three, you can't say that this kid that came to a class and annoys you has no meaning. It's our responsibility to help to find him what can be his contribution to the class, to society, to his friends. And trust me, you started with very young children. Make them partners. Help them to find. And that's what people ask you, especially when even I meet students in the university, they still struggle with it at that point. What's special about me? What am I getting? And then he say, and every person must know and understand that he needs to seek and reveal his light to as many as possible and make it a great torch. Now, to enlighten the entire world. Now, I want to ask you a question. It's a rhetorical question. I'll answer it. But if you ask yourself, what do you mean? Let's say I'm good in music. I should come to people and say, listen to my music, or I'm here the best in this and this. Let me do it. What about modesty? We call it anava. Okay, you have to tell people. Rabbi Kook said, of course you have. And I give you an example. Let's say you are a doctor and you sit in an airplane and you hear the stewardess saying, do we have a doctor on this plane? Have you heard it once? I heard it twice, okay? What would you say? Well, I'm going to show off that I'm a doctor, that I studied 10 years, that I dedicated my life to such a high level of, I should be modest. No, you have to jump. You have to jump to scream, I'm a doctor. This is my mission. And that's exactly to teachers and engineers or whatever you choose as a mission in your life. You have to come to say, You know why it's you don't show off? You know why? Because it's not yours. That's what Rabbi Kook will tell you. You got a present from Hashem, from God, and you have to take it and to do it and say, God, when, you're not supposed to ask for special honor or for special money or for special, acknowledgement. This is modesty. Do it because it's not yours and this is your job. Now, in 2008, after a horrible, horrible terrorist act in Yeshivat Merkaz Harav, in the center of Jerusalem, Merkaz Harav is the yeshiva Rabbi Kook founded. One of his students wrote a wonderful lyric music to a poem that Rabbi Kook wrote himself. He used to write poems. And it's called Ben Adam. Please go. Next, Daniel. It's called Ben Adam Ale Lemala Ale, which says, rise up, okay? If you have strength to do so, you have the strength. You have wings of spirit, wings of powerful eagles. Do not deny them, or they will deny you. Seek them, and you will find them in the flesh. If you look up at the internet for the song Ben Adam Ale Lemala Ale, you can listen to the music. It's wonderful. And I want to sum up this part and to tell you, Rabbi Kook told us that our role and our challenge as educators is to tell people, don't deny your power. You know what happened? When you see someone who is not happy, and sad, you know what I think about him? That he denied his power. If you want to do something, go ahead. And I think you educators and me too, I'm not just challenging you, I challenge myself. We have to help those kids or our students or whatever teach adults, even if they are 65 or 70 years old. What do you mean to retire? Who decided at the age of 68 or 70, whoever decide that I'm stop being active? It's stupid. Avraham Avinu, we just will read the Shabbat Lech Lecha. When he started his career, we were 75. I have 5 years to go to come with a Lech Lecha. He was 75. You know how old Moshe Rabbeinu was when he got this challenge to lead the Jewish people? 80 years old. And he was a baby brother to Aaron, who was 83. Those two leaders led, Churchill, he was in his best in the end of his life. Someone asked him, how are you, Sir Winston? When he was 93, he said, considering the alternative, I'm wonderful. And this is so wonderful. So Maslow taught us about motivation to come to eye level. Rabbi Kook tells you, help the people to find their strengths, who they are. Another leader, Rabbi Soloveitchik, who is more familiar to the American people, he's the founder, actually philosophic founder of what we call the liberal Orthodox or the modern Orthodox. He opened the school in Boston, Maimonides, but teaching Judaism, but making you a person that will be professional and a part of the modern society. Judaism is not just sitting in a yeshiva, it's very important. It's also sitting in yeshiva university. Okay? Now he said, man is created as an agent with a mission. The essence of his creation and his birth necessity contains within the appointment of agency. The fact that someone lives, it's almost the same idea of Rabbi Kook. But what I decided to bring him because he says, go to the next paragraph, please, that if you got a mission, you are born with the qualification and with the power to fulfill it, because it's not possible that someone will give a mission without having the tools to fulfill it. Okay? And this was something that he came to say. Go to the next, Daniel. It is for his reasons that the individual is created at such time in which he is able to affect his. Now he says also that sometimes in your life the mission is changed. Go to the last paragraph. Okay.
That was it.
Okay, that's all about. Okay. Now, after you met all these amazing people, I hope that we will come out from this session with thought, what is my mission? What is my role to help those kids? And if you come with this motivation, how do I help other teachers to fulfill their ideas? And you engage your kids with this idea. The question is, what the highest motivation of every they only care about themselves, like we are. We are very egoistic, but if you stay there, we are in a big problem. We have to move them from im en ani li mili, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני. If I only to myself, who am I? Okay, we have to push them up and to help them define who they are. The last one I wanted to speak about is the Leibovich Rebbe. This unbelievable, he's not with us about 28 years or more, and his movement is growing and growing and growing, and more shluchim are going all over the world. This is something people don't understand. How come? And the reason is because he was the greatest leader that empowers other people. He pushed them. He challenged them. Okay? And if you look into his, I just wrote a book about it. It's called A Journey for an Effective Shlichut. It's Hebrew. It's not in English. It's now being translated. And I hope one of the days I can share with you some thoughts about the Rebbe. He believed that everyone has a mission, and the main role of his shluchim is to help people to find their mission. Most of the people think the shluchim is about kosher food and a mikveh and a synagogue. That's okay. That's true. But the main mission is to help other people to fulfill their mission toward redemption, Geulah. We have to fix the world. When the last prayer of Aleinu L'Shabech says, "Letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai." We have to fix to make tikkun olam. This verse is very famous, to fix the world. And think about your mission, whether you are a driver, or you are a mechanic, or you are a teacher or a doctor. Try to find your mission. Now, I was asked to leave some minutes for Q&A. And those of you who have questions or remarks, please, I'm so happy to see that we have today such a nice group. If anyone wants to ask or to comment, please. Unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and ask the question if you have.
And also I share with you the link for the song, the beautiful song, Ale Lemala Ale, Kanfei Ruach.
Okay. I want to share with you, if you don't have a question, I wanted to conclude. There was a shaliach. A shaliach is an emissary that was sent by the Rebbe to Connecticut. His name was Rabbi Hecht. Moshe Yitzchak Hecht. And he wrote a letter to the rabbi, and he said, and this was in the early 50s, when it was so hard to be a Jew in Connecticut, especially when you dressed up like a Jew from Eastern Europe after the Holocaust. Most of the Jews in America didn't want to look, they want a new look of a Jew, and the community didn't want him. And they had problems with the KKK, who was anti-Semites. And we write the Rebbe, and he said, his name is Moshe Yitzchak Hecht. And he said, Rabbi, please, I need you to send someone to help me. I can't stand it. And guess what? The Rabbi wrote him a letter. Before you asked, I already sent you someone. The problem is you never met him. His name is Moshe Yitzchak Hecht. Go meet him, and your life will change. It means the Rebbe told him, you are your own help. Instead of looking outside, look inside and try to understand your strengths. And you know what? If you got a letter from a Rebbe and you are a Chabad Hasid or a Shliach, you never argue and you never send another letter. He struggled, and this is an amazing way of empowerment. We have to empower everyone we are connected with, everyone we are teaching. And you know, if you go today to Connecticut, to New Haven, you will be amazed what this man achieved, he and his family. So the first thing, when a kid asks you a question, as a good educator, some people say it's a good Jew, answer with a question. Don't give him the answer. Tell him, oh, I'm sure you can find it yourself. I know you're smart. And if he comes again and again and again, give him a hint, and show him where to look up for it. Don't give an answer. I never answer questions. I always give you a chance to find it yourself. And this is a wonderful feeling for him that he reveals the question, and he feels so empowered. And this is the secret of a Rebbe. He empowered all his people. And I would finish with Parashat HaShavua. This Shabbat, we read the story of Abraham, that he was sent, Lech Lecha. And I don't know how you translate it to English. The one, I love the interpretation that says, Lech Lecha, which means not like the regular interpretation is go for yourself. Lech Lecha is go to yourself. Look into, instead of trying to find only outside. Thank you very much for listening. And listen, my friend Zohar, thank you for the opportunity. And Daniel and all the Stephanie, all the guys from JNF. I really like to see you in Israel, and I hope to see you again in a month. What I wanted to ask you, Zohar, you are more than welcome to share my phone and my email if people want to ask me or to speak to me about it, and how can we implement those ideas in our class. You are more invited. Any feedback, anything you want to tell me or to ask me, we have another 5 minutes, please. I think we have less than 5 minutes. Zohar.
Yes, but let's take the opportunity. If you have any question, any comment, please. John.
I just want to say Rav Todot. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that as implementers, as educators, it's our jobs now to figure out ways to bring this not only to our own practice, but to the way our students learn, and focus on empowering our students, as you said, to be able to learn and feel that they can learn and that they're valued.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Okay, I see some people have wonderful comments. Thank you. B'atzlacha to you guys. I know it's a challenge to work where you work, and don't give up. Okay.
Simcha, if you can stay with us another few minutes, because we are going to promote.
No, I will stand with you. I don't know what to say. Good evening, good afternoon. Depends when you are. For me, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going back to sleep.
Oh, for you, it's a good morning, no?
Yeah, good. For me, it's good morning, of course.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's already Thursday. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's a really, really our privilege, to work together, all of us. And you have here as such an amazing group is here that came from our mission, and always we are together. So happy to see you, Ronit, Michelle, John, Penny, Lisa, and more, and Tiki from 2 years ago, and Sylvia here, and Ladan, and I hope that I'm not missing anyone. So wow. So Simcha, it's because of you. So thank you so much. And let's bring the stage to Stephanie to update us for the next future, what we have for you.
Yeah, hi everyone. So nice to see so many familiar faces. Hope you're all well. If I don't know you, my name is Stephanie. I work in our education team based on Long Island. So hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Just briefly, for some follow-up, you will receive a follow-up email to this one. It will have the link for future events. I'm just going to post it in the chat again. Daniel did earlier, so you could check out what we have coming up, some great sessions. And a couple other things I want to mention. Our big campaign coming up is Tu B'Shvat. You might be thinking, oh, it's only October, but we're JNF. So we are way into Tu B'Shvat right now, planning an amazing, amazing program for everyone. Some of you may have utilized our program in the past, our Tu B'Shvat in a Box. Every year, JNF creates a wonderful program school across is a program that you can use in your classroom. It is geared towards a railed up and down based on the students that you teach. And we provide content and tech study, videos, some fun things in the box. So we encourage you all to sign up. And the goal of the program is obviously to get schools and students to plant trees in Israel. We have a fun little competition between schools as well. And it's just a wonderful program to participate in for Tu B'Shvat. So you'll receive information about that in the follow-up email as well. I'll just finally mention that although you may not interact with them much, but we do have a lot of programming on campus for college students. We're specifically working on our volunteer trip to Israel for college students. It's called our Alternative Winter Break. And that's a 1-week trip to Israel over winter break. So if you know any college students who are interested in getting to Israel or getting back to Israel, please send them our way. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining. Zohar, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Can you please send the link for the events by email?
Yes, we will send you by the thank you letter. We will send you the recording. We'll send you the presentation, and we'll send you the next link and all the information for the next training, and also what Stephanie just updated. So
thank you very much.
Yes, our pleasure to do so.